We are studying files, and in files we saw how we can use the various modes, whether if we want to create a file, use W, overwrite again W. If we want to append something to a file, then use A mode. And then if you want to read a file, then we use R mode. And the main function which we use there is fopen to open or create a file, and we use fclose then to close that file. And when we open or close a file, we use a pointer that points to the file. We can also use this uh, fscan and fprintf, fscanf and fprintf that we saw earlier. Now let us continue with files and learn some other things. And if I am dealing with files, obviously I need a file pointer. So I put a file, then I create a pointer, fine. And let me say I uh, want to display all the characters that are in the file, and I do not know what is there in the file. The only thing I know is the path of the file, the name of the file, and that's it. I do not know what is inside the file. So obviously I cannot use this fscanf things, because there I need to write percentage d percentage um, c if we want to do it element by element. And there is a better way to scan any file if we are not knowing the contents of that file. So let us first read that file and see how then we can get all its contents. So to read a file, we know that the function that is there is fopen. And first of all, we need to put the uh, which file we need to open there in double quotes. I have a file in the documents folder. I have a text file there by the name of notes. So that is a text file. So notes.txt. Then I can put the mode, in which mode I want to take this file. Obviously, I want to read this file. It is already there. And once we read this file, we want a pointer to point to this, like fine. So now we have opened a file, we read it, and pointer is pointing to it. And it is a good way if we write like this: if p is equivalent to null, because there is a possibility that this file is not there. If there is no file like notes.txt there, so p will have a null inside it. So we need to check that. If there is a null inside it, we can write it like this. So we can write it printf file doesn't exist. File doesn't exist. And this happens only when there is no such file. And we can then go to else, and here we can write the code. If it exists, then what should happen. Now if the file exists there, we need to read it. So to read the characters of a file one by one, we have a function in C called get C. Fine. So get C is a function which can be used for this purpose. And we just need to put the name, the pointer to the file, that is P here. Fine. So get C P means just get the character from that file. Since P points to the file and it will point to the first character of the file, the first character will come here. Fine. Since it will return a character, we need to store that in something. Let us call that as, for example, CH. Fine. CH means character here. We can write it here, character CH. So we have a variable CH, char, and when the file returns a character, that is stored in CH. So this line will get the first character from the file. Just a single first character will be copied from the file to the CH. And then if I just print this, I write printf this CH. So one character will be printed, but I want to print all of the file. So obviously I need something like loop. So I use while loop here, and I can write like this. There is a particular way of writing it. I write it like this. So when I deal with files, I always write it like this. This is a good way. So it means that whenever you read something from the file, check whether it is EOF. EOF means end of file. So this thing will return this. Fine. This we have reached the end of file, then ch will be equal to end of file. Then this loop will not run. So this loop will run to a point when we do not reach end of file. So this way we can traverse the whole file character by character and make sure when we reach end of file, we stop there. So now what do we need to do? Just print the contents, nothing else. Just write printf %c, because this is a character. We are printing the character. Print the character ch. Fine. So if we have not reached end of file, just print that character on the monitor. Done. But this will print only single character. Then we need to get another character. To read another character, we again need to write this line. Fine. So let me paste it here, because in while loop every time we need to get new character to ch. That is why this needs to be repeated. So now this I put here, one character is printed, then another will be printed, then a third one. One thing we have to remember here, that we do not need to increment p. Fine. In this C, when we do this automatically p gets incremented. And in normal circumstances, we know that we cannot read another character. We should here put p plus plus, because the p should move to the next character, then to next character, then to next character. Had we been dealing with strings or arrays, we had to do this p plus plus. But when we deal with files, it happens by itself. We just take this get 3 goes to the next and next character. Then after one read, it will go to the next thing. So here the while loop is done. Then once the while loop is done, we don't need to need anything, because all the characters will be printed here one by one. So let us just execute this code and see what happens. Let us first save it. So let me call it as files2.c. Compile and run. And if I see here, this is my file in that drive. So this is what I had written in that file. So exactly same has been published here. And I didn't knew whether there were integers, whether there was strings or characters in the file. I just used this ch I treated everything as a character, and one by one everything was retrieved from the file and published here on the screen. So you can see even the spaces, capital, small, everything has been kept as such. And we can check this thing. I can go to my documents, and then I can check there is a file by the name of notes here. I can open this file and check everything has been kept like that. We have an enter here. Fine. Next line here, that has also been preserved. And this next line thing is also can be seen here in our code here on the screen. After running the code, everything has been preserved as such. So this is an easier and a more appropriate way to read a file. And now if I tell you that um, I have to write a program which counts the number of characters in a file. Fine. So our target is that we want to write a program that counts the number of characters in a file. How long is a file? How many characters are there in a file? So I can just change this program. So my target is count the number of characters in a file. And yeah, in other words, the size in terms of characters, what is the size of the file? So how can I do that? Fine, I took a pointer, a character ch. I opened the file, checked whether the file exists or not. Fine. Then I read one character. Then because using the while loop, I started reading every single character. Done. Now what I need to do, whenever I read a character, I just need to count that thing. So here I have read one character. So I can write count plus plus. I should take a integer here by the name of count. Fine. And initially I should put it to 0. So here I have read one character, count will become 1. If this loop runs 4 times, that means there are 4 more characters. So count should be incremented each time. Here I can write count plus plus. So this way I can read the characters. In this case, I do not need to do this. I do not need to print the characters. I only need the count. So I ran the loop, and this count thing, count plus plus, will do the counting part. Once this whole loop is over, I can go here and just publish that thing. So I can write here printf the number of characters in the file are percentage d, right? Percentage d, and what is the number of characters? It is count, the variable count. The number of characters in the file are this much. And let me execute this program, and it is saying the number of characters in the file are 155. So in this file there are in total 155 characters here. Okay. So if I am not sure about this, I may do one thing. Let me just trim it and check how many characters are there. Fine. So let me just trim this thing. Fine. And Let me put it like this. So how many characters? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and let this be dot 24. Fine. So let us execute this thing. It is saying 25, and maybe let us again check it. Let me just trim this over. Fine. Let us keep it like this. Here the answer should be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So let me save this and let me execute. So it is saying the number of characters in the file are 6. So that means there is an extra count going here, which should not happen, right? Fine. So obviously this should not be like this. We have done one count here and then another count here, and because when we reach end of file, that is also considered here, right? So the answer should be here count minus 1. Right? Why? Because this um, end of file is also here read, because if we reach end of file, count gets an increment. This is not, we don't need to count the EOF, so that is why I have to do a decrement here. So I can run it now, and it is giving the correct answer, that is 5. We did a program on how to count the number of characters in a file, and we can do enumerable programs on files. Let us say, for example, if I have to write a program which tells us the number of sentences in a file. So a file consists of very many sentences, and we have to check, we have to tell how many sentences are there in that file. What can we do? So the question here becomes to count the number of sentences in a file. So first I will take a pointer, then I will open that file. Let it be notes.txt. I have a file in a computer in documents named notes.txt. Open it in read mode, and if it is not there, then say file doesn't exist, and if it is there, then start reading the file. So by this I read the first character of the file, right? And I don't want to do the counting of characters. I have to count the number of sentences, right, in the file. So I have read a character, then I started a loop, and then what should I do? I need to check whether the character that I have read is a full stop or an exclamatory mark, or is it like a question mark, which denotes that the sentence is complete. So I just need to check that character. I can write if the same character ch, if ch, I will check is this equivalent to what? If this character ch is equivalent to dot, fine, this is one, then I will write or this ch is uh, equivalent to this question mark, fine, or We can also say ch is equivalent to this exclamatory, right? And this will represent that it is there. If a dot is there, we can say that one sentence is complete. Or if one of the three symbols is there, it means one sentence is complete. Then we can move on to the other sentence, and we can count that thing. So our point is that if the sentence is complete, then I need to do the counting. So I should write here count plus plus. So I don't need to count the characters. I need to count the sentences. This will tell me that yes, a sentence is there. So I put a count plus plus. If there is no completion of sentence, there will be no increment in this count plus plus. Then after this is done, again next character will be read, right? Next character will be read, and the loop will go on. It will check if the next character is not EOF, then it will continue doing this operation. And finally, it will for me it will print then the number of sentences in the file are the number of sentences are given by this figure count. So whatever will be the value of count, that will be number of sentences in this. So let us run this. Let me first save this program. So let me call it as files3.c and save it. Then compile and execute. So it is saying that the number of sentences in the file are 4. So we may check it out there. So we may go to documents, then to notes, and we can check it here. This is 1, 2, 3, and 4 sentences are here. Right? It checked the exclamatory, the dot, and the question marks, and finally it gave us the answer that the number of sentences is 4.